Hi guys, today we're going to learn how to do some basic marking out, and I hear you say, well Mr. Williams, I know how to mark out. But what we want is some of the finer details down in your marking out. You need to be accurate. What you're going to need is a pencil, nice sharp pencil, so you can get it nice and accurate, and a ruler, and obviously some of your practice polypropylene. Okay, so what I'm going to show you now is how to mark out. I guess this is your experimentation little model that we're going to make. The first thing we're going to do is start by marking out a tab that we're going to use to join our whole design together. Now it might be a bit hard to understand what I'm talking about, but when you see it all come together you'll understand. And so I'm going to mark a tab out that is 20 millimeters off the edge here. You'll notice I'm putting a little dot there, and I'm also going to come down to the bottom here and put another dot 20 millimeters in, so that I know that the marking line that I'm making is parallel with the edge here. If it's not, then your design's going to be out of square. It's going to be a funny shape. And then I'm just going to join that from the top to bottom there. Okay. Now what I'm left with here is a lot of space. I'm going to make my design a square shape. So what I've got is this space here. If I want it to be a square, I need 4 sides. So I'm going to divide that distance from my line here to the end by 4. Now I've done my calculation before and worked out that it's roughly 79 millimeters each of my sides. So I'm going to mark out 79 on here, 79 mil. And then for my next point I'm going to mark out 79 mil. Once again, another 79. Remember, accuracy is the key, so make sure you take time with your measurements. Now, a little tip to make things a little bit faster is I'm not going to bother measuring both of those, again down the bottom. You'll notice that on this surface there's a grid pattern. And so I'm just going to line up my edges of my design on that grid pattern so that it's nice and square. And then I know that this line down here is perpendicular to this line. So all I can do is line up my little dots on a line, and I can see through my polypropylene, and I can just mark out my line without having to bother putting the second dots. So you can save a bit of time. As long as your job is lined up along these lines, you can save some time doing it that way. But you've got to make sure that it's accurate. Okay. And the last one just over here. And there we go. The last bit of marking out I'm going to do for my design is to put the points where I'm going to punch for some riveting. Now I'll show you how to rivet in a later video. But once again, I might come down, or what do you think? I think a good distance would be maybe 2 centimeters from the top, or 20 millimeters. Okay, it's good to get in the habit of using millimeters in technology. And I'm going to come 20 millimeters from the bottom. And then I might divide that distance by 2. Now look at that, it's 60, so I'm going to divide that by 2. What do I end up with? 30. Okay, so I just put there, and then I've got my punch holes marked evenly out down there. I'm also going to mark them in the center of my tab, and so once again I'm using the grid mat to line up the center, and I'm going to put a center line down the middle. And now I know exactly where my punch holes are going to go. And that's pretty much marked out for the first part of your practice.